When teachers start planning a lesson, they should consider the following aspects. Firstly, the learning objectives. What learning objectives will be attained during this class? Secondly, methods and techniques. How these learning objectives will be attained? Thirdly, skills and sub-skills. What sub-skills and skills students will develop and improve during this particular lesson? And finally, the outcomes. What are the expected lesson outcomes?
There are 4 discrete understandings of functional literacy. Literacy as an autonomous set of skills, literacy as applied, practiced, and situated, literacy as a learning process, and literacy as text. The most common understanding of literacy is that it is a set of tangible skills, particularly the cognitive skills of reading and writing, that are independent of the context in which they are acquired and the background of the person who acquires them. Views of functional literacy often assumed literacy could be taught as a universal set of skills which is applicable everywhere. As individuals learn, they become literate. This idea is at the core of a third approach, which views literacy as an active and broad-based learning process rather than as a product of a more limited and focused educational intervention. Literacy as a text pays particular attention to the analysis of discrete passages of text. In summary, these 4 approaches broadly reflect the evolution of the meaning of functional literacy in different disciplinary traditions.
I would like to comment on this part of the lesson where students have Socratic seminar. Socratic seminar is an activity where students help one another understand the ideas, issues, and values reflected in a text through a group discussion format. Students are responsible for facilitating the group discussion around the ideas in the text. They shouldn't use the discussion to assert their opinions or prove an argument. Through this type of discussion, students practice how to listen to one another, make meaning, and find common ground while participating in a conversation. The entire conversation is managed by the students. Teacher observes and assesses the students' participation in the discussion. The rubrics assess students' conduct, listening, speaking, reasoning, and reading preparation. In this lesson, students needed to compare the settings and atmosphere in the stories which they have previously read. The discussion is not about right answers, it's not a debate. Students are encouraged to think out loud and to exchange ideas openly while examining ideas in a rigorous and thoughtful manner.
Yes, it's real. It's in real time.
Students discuss direct and indirect characterization. Students have been taught different elements of the story, and one element of the story is characterization. As readers interact with the story, relevant information about important characters is revealed through direct and indirect characterization. In this activity, students are asked to rewrite sentences using direct and indirect characterization. This activity helps students to notice the difference between explicit and implicit characterization and enables students to use style in their writing. In real life, students also need to describe someone by using either direct or indirect characterization. I would like to comment on this activity where students walk around the class and discuss the questions which are based on the story. Students have read the story before, and now they have a chance to work with a partner or partners and answer some questions. Students should give answers and support these answers with the evidence from the text. So this is the example of the authentic conversation, because students do not memorize the script, they do not memorize the speech, but they practice language in the authentic atmosphere. And also students practice different types of functional language, for example, turn-taking, back-channeling, agreeing and disagreeing with each other, and also interrupting. All these skills are necessary for students to master because in their real life they communicate with different people and they have to use different types of functional language which have been mentioned before.
You have already said that the lottery is something that you should, like, you will win something, and at the beginning it describes that it's sunny, clear day.
In this short video, I showed a few examples of teaching functional literacy in an English class.